The challenge for Nathan's hot dog eating is you can't vomit while you're still on camera.
Yeah.
Once you get behind where people can't see you, they don't care.
Sure, do whatever you want.
They know you're going to puke at that point.
Yeah, chowder everywhere.
Absolutely.
Fine.
If you puke on camera, you're disqualified.
There's a second set of cameras. The OnlyFans feed is what picks that up. And that's, that's where they make all their margin.
Quiet, please.
From the vomit cam, 4, the barf bucket,
3,
the vomit vessel.
2.
Company presents a Truly Terrible Podcast. Welcome to Nonsense Season 4, Episode 10. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm CJ Little.
This is our take on the week's business, tech, and entertainment headlines. This time, inside the high-tech revolution of Olympic broadcasting.
Forget AI in 2026. We finally get a curling camera, Jeff.
Canada rejoice. The rise of Mobile Fortify and the end of anonymity.
Wait, is that like the competitor to Mobile Insure?
Mobile Fortify?
Yeah, it's like a protein shake the elderly can take while traveling.
Hopping mad, OpenAI blasts dishonest Super Bowl satire.
Altman said, look, there's only room for one dishonest AI company, and we were here first.
Also, a big story later this week, beyond lithium, the new battery tech that just might kill range anxiety.
I mean, nothing's going to kill range anxiety. You got to put gas into the battery, and then that would kill range anxiety.
How was your week going, sir?
Oh, man, my week is amazing. I slept great on Sunday. I discovered something, better than a trifecta of like a cocktail of booze, melatonin, and Ambien.
Something we always recommend.
Yes,
sure.
Super Bowl 60. I fought so hard to stay awake.
That was a dull one.
I mean, it was an amazing defense. It just doesn't make for a good game.
No.
I was bored to tears.
In a game where a kicker should be the MVP. That's a dull game.
In the third quarter, I was literally rooting for there to be like records set. I was like, I just don't want to see any touchdowns scored in this game at all. Like at this point, I'm already in for 2/3 of the game. Now, like, let's just make something that I can be like, oh yeah, I observed the boringest game ever where they only scored with kickers.
Or a shutout. You know, you wanted to see the very first Super Bowl shutout.
Totally.
But
something like that. I'm sure there was some point shaving, something going on there that is too smart for me. But I found only really two things interesting. One, that the NFL somehow managed to cram this amazing entire, basically Bad Bunny concert into the halftime of the Super Bowl. I don't even know how the logistics. There's like a truck out there. They had sugar cane. They had people inside sugar cane, like a bodega. It was just Pedro Pascal just leisurely hanging out in the front of the bodega.
It's always amazing the stuff they can do in that transition time. They build like a city in about 4 minutes. Yeah, it's incredible.
And someone doesn't affect the field. I'm just like, how do you get the truck out there without like putting in roots and the truck has no engine in it? They got to push it out here. Is it light? Like what did you do? Are the tires full of helium? I had no idea. The other thing that impressed me was that I somehow was able to win 75% of the value of my Super Bowl square pool.
How did you do that?
So I forgot to click the link and buy the squares because life. And literally 10 minutes before kickoff, I wasn't going to the party because I was staying home with the kids. Like literally 10 minutes before kickoff, I'm like, oh crap, I need to go buy squares. And there were like 17 left. And I'm like, I'm gonna just buy all the squares just so that it's full. Sure. Because otherwise it's weird if there's not, square doesn't pay out or square pays out and someone's not. Yeah, sure. Fine, I'll just buy them all. I don't really care. Like I'm just supporting the party. I then could not watch the game live because I have children that decided they wanted to go outside and go bike riding. And I'm not going to tell them no. So I watched the game late and then I didn't check until the next morning to see who won. So I had terrible numbers. I was like, I'm not going to win anything. Sure. And I won a halftime and the final score. So everyone's really
very nice.
I wasn't even there.
They were weird numbers anyway.
They were terrible numbers. I had terrible numbers to begin with. I'm like, these are terrible, terrible numbers. It was fun. I mean, I enjoyed it, I guess. I just thought the game was super boring.
You just slept through it.
I couldn't imagine being there. Like I'm typically pretty bored at pro football games anyway, but that one just looked like a snoozer. I had no complaints. It was a reasonable week. How about you? How was yours?
Mine was fine. I also, like you, I watched the Super Bowl, went to a Super Bowl party and had a fantastic time, even though the game was, as you say, super dull. The halftime show was fun. The couple in the Bad Bunny halftime show actually got married.
Oh,
it was
really?
a real couple. Oh, it's amazing.
I was wondering that.
Story.
Yeah.
They had invited Bad Bunny to their wedding, and instead he said, I'm doing the Super Bowl. Why don't we get you married during the Super Bowl? And so they have this wedding that occurs during, and you see it for a split second. He actually signed their wedding license as one of the witnesses after the...
Did he really?
Oh, he is really cool.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, really sweet. It made history as the first Super Super Bowl halftime show performed almost entirely in Spanish.
I mean, almost entirely is doing a lot of work there because it was pretty much all Spanish. There were, I think, 3 words.
That was pretty cool. I mean, I thought that was just, the whole thing was just delightfully festive and fun and joyous and all those things.
Oh, wait, hold on. I don't know if I'd say joyous. There were several times where he was up way too high without being like clipped into a tether.
On the telephone pole. And, yes, exactly. We all said that too.
Nervous.
We said he could fall. He is way too high to not be clipped in.
I am such an old man. I was just like, oh, he's going to, no, don't do that.
I agree. It's crazy. But there could have been airbags down below. I have no idea how any of that worked. Yeah. Like the Olympic ski suits.
Yeah.
Lindsey Vonn, the ski suit she had on is airbags.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And somehow there's little sensors inside of this thing and it knows when you're out of control.
Yeah.
It inflates in milliseconds, literally can inflate before you even hit the ground.
I don't see you or I ever wearing one of those, but they do make a version of that suit. This is true for the elderly for when they fall down.
Yeah.
And it inflates to soften the blow to the landing on the floor. Yeah. And I feel like you and I should be wearing those even like right now while we're recording the show. I feel like we're squarely in the window.
So you got to ask yourself, why did Bad Bunny even have those power poles in the middle of the halftime show? And he was protesting the Luma Energy, the blackout power outages in Puerto Rico, literally like on Christmas Day. Yeah. They had a blackout.
Yeah, that was my first thought when I saw it because they had them like sparking and stuff too. And they had line workers off them. I mean, it was really neat. I was just nervous for the dude being up that high.
And then Bad Bunny proudly waves the light blue version of the Puerto Rican flag, which was great. That flag was effectively banned under the gag law, which made it illegal to display the flag or sing patriotic independence tunes on the island. But good for him. That was great. Yeah. First time a USC quarterback has started in the Super Bowl.
What, to see SC winning a game on TV? Yeah, sure.
An adjacent win for USC, not a direct win, but an adjacent win.
I was more excited that it was Darnold just because that dude, I feel like everybody sort of gave up on. Yeah. And I think it was cool to see him up there and see him win a Super Bowl. It was obviously awesome. Although I don't know anything about these two teams, but they showed a picture of the quarterback, the Patriots quarterback, 10 years previous when he was at the Super Bowl with his dad.
Oh yeah, that was great. That was great.
And I was like, oh man, this is like how can you not? Like that is just the coolest thing ever.
He didn't look all that much older.
So that was the first Trojan to start as quarterback in the Super Bowl. Yeah. How many, if any, do you think UCLA has?
I don't know the answer to that. How many?
So you want the answer to be like -1, right? I mean, you want it to be basically 0.
Obviously, you're bringing it up.
Yeah. As it turns out, much disappointment. The answer is 2.
Oh, okay.
Troy Aikman and Bill Kilmer.
Oh, yeah, of course.
But who has the most? This is the trivia question. What school has the most starting quarterbacks in the Super Bowl? Arguably right behind UCLA.
Notre Dame.
Arguably right behind Notre Dame. Notre Dame has 3. Joe Montana, Joe Theismann, and Daryl LaMonica. There is one school that has more than that.
Who?
Cal.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff, Craig Morton, and Joe Kapp. Wow. 4 from Cal, which is pretty crazy. Yeah. Only 3 schools have started 3, and only 1 school has started 4. Thought that was pretty cool.
And we have now started 1.
So we were on the list.
We're on the board. We're finally on the board.
And that is because of Lincoln Riley.
How so?
Not in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I'm just trying to get.
I thought you had something there.
No.
It happened before he was coach. He called a guy who did his thing, who got us.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm gonna take up flag football.
Flag football is gonna be in the Olympics.
I saw that.
I'm kind of excited about it.
I'm really excited to see how that comes down. I really think that's interesting.
That sounds like it's gonna be really fun.
Yeah, there's some really fun Olympic sports this winter, and I'm really excited about summer in a couple of years in our backyard.
2028. Sure.
Yeah.
As happens at every Super Bowl, this is not a shocker. I'm sure I ate way too much.
It's not Thanksgiving. Why'd you eat too much?
For me, the Super Bowl is like Thanksgiving, only I eat more. Yeah. But the food was really good and we had a good time.
I made chicken wings.
Shall we get to our headlines?
I mean, I think so.
How AI and drones are reimagining the Winter Olympics. You've been watching the Winter Olympics, haven't you?
Yeah, but like they should just ask AI to reimagine the Olympics. Think about how cool that would be. Like if you had an open claw for Olympics.
Sure.
They're just like, okay, 2 guys on fire on skis jump over the Grand Canyon. And you're like, wait, what?
They actually change events. You actually give the AI a chance to change events.
Yes, and everybody has to compete against one AI in their event, like a Boston Dynamics autonomous robot
that never falls down and just never breaks legs. Yeah, sure. The 2026 Winter Olympics in Milano-Cortina are redefining the spectator experience through a high-tech overhaul of sports broadcasting. Artificial intelligence leads the charge, powering real-time 360-degree replays and automated highlight generation to capture every crucial moment instantly. For the first time, curling fans can track stones. You made a joke about this earlier.
Yeah.
With AI AI-driven overlays, while first-person view drones plunge viewers into the high-speed intensity of bobsleigh and luge. Behind the scenes, the shift to cloud-based virtual broadcasting vans is slashing power consumption by 50%, signaling a greener future for mega events. From cinematic storytelling to Olympic GPT providing instant stats, the 2026 games aren't just being watched, they're being experienced through an immersive, data-rich lens that brings fans closer to the ice than ever before.
Yeah, I mean, nothing says, oh man, that luge was amazing, than a spreadsheet that pops up afterwards. I love seeing the data. Wow.
But the drone stuff, as someone who flies drones, let me tell you how cool those FPV drone shots are.
Yeah.
I hear the drones.
Yeah.
I whipped my head around. I wasn't even watching. It was on TV behind me. I hear the drone. I whip my head around it because I know I'm going to see something really cool.
First of all, I think this is super cool. And I am absolutely amazed at how much tech they push into all sporting events, but especially the Olympics.
Yeah.
I really don't even want to try to imagine the production effort that goes into this thing, because it just sounds like a lot. And it's not like you're doing it week after week. Like, you know, I feel like the NFL directors get into a rhythm and the production gets into a rhythm. And here you're just like, okay, this is all going to happen in the next 2 weeks.
All brand new.
Yeah, which is crazy.
They do have 4 years to plan for it. It's not like it suddenly sneaks up on them out of the blue.
But there's planning for it. Then you get there and one of the guys is like, did you order the internet? And they're like, nope. Oh, whoops. Like, what? You know, like, it's hard to not do it. They've proven out some of this tech, I think, at the Dakar rally, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, sure.
A couple months ago or last month. But I want to point one thing out that I have just a little bit of a problem with.
Yeah.
And I've read this now in a couple articles, including this one that we're citing, which is they're talking about these, you know, these virtual broadcast vans slashing power consumption by 50%. And I'm like,
sure.
Okay.
Explain exactly what you're talking about.
I think what they're doing is they're moving the actual production process, so the editing,
the switching van,
and the switching, all of that gets basically moved into the cloud.
Right.
So now you're just streaming content into the cloud and they're editing on the cloud. Great. That's cool. It may save power. I don't know if it's 50%, but it might. Cool. Glad you singled that out.
Sure.
All the other crap you're doing is using 800% more power than you have in previous years. You literally have Olympic GPT. There are 3 towns in Norway that don't have lights for the next 2 weeks.
Dark,
so you can power Olympic GPT.
Right.
So I'm just like, okay, you highlight the power and the van savings, but meanwhile, you're doing all this other stuff that
By the way, the vans probably weren't using that much power.
Exactly. So it feels like, okay, yeah, 50% is a real number of a very small number, yet you've made these whole new categories that are much, much bigger. But it's very cool. I'm very intrigued by this. The thing that I find most striking about really all these sporting events, but especially the Olympics, they just keep raising the bar every 2 years, higher and higher, right? Because it wasn't exactly low when it was in Paris not too long ago.
Right.
And you're like, whoa, like they just keep notching it up. And I think that's impressive. Also, don't hurt Snoop. Like, he's not a young, spry man. What are you doing pushing him down on like a...
He was an athlete as a kid.
Yes, that was 70 years ago.
No,
don't
not that old.
Screw with Snoop. Like, he just... I love that he's doing it, by the way. And I love that this guy...
Always so fun. And he seems game for anything.
And every time the Olympics hits and he's being the Olympic, you know, sort of like NBC, like face of the Olympics for them, there's always some set of tweets that appear where someone's like, yeah, I had this long conversation with my mom about how much she loves watching Snoop in the Olympics. And then I remind her that she grounded me for listening to his albums 20 years ago, which I always find amusing, that juxtaposition of the two. But it's very cool. If you're not watching the Olympics at home, you should. Even if you're not into the sports, just watching the camaraderie and the competition and the production is pretty cool.
The tech changes so much. When I was at USC, the Olympics, for the 84 Olympics, were coming, and they built the McDonald's swim stadium, which was this enormous swim pool complex with diving and all the rest of it. They don't build that anymore. They don't do that anymore. What they do now is they erect this enormous aquarium so that you can see through it from every angle and have cameras. It's absolutely so cool now.
Were you there for the 84 Olympics?
Yeah.
Wow, that had to be an awesome experience.
It was pretty incredible,
Was the village on campus?
Yes.
Oh, as if I couldn't get any more jealous of you. That had to be incredible. Meanwhile, I'm on 12 lists to try to get a ticket for a thing so I can maybe see somebody 300 yards away roll a bike down a hill because it's all packed now.
ICE's new face scanning app brings the border to the city. U.S. Immigration Enforcement is entering a biometric checkpoint era with Mobile Fortify, a powerful smartphone app transforming how ICE and CBP operate. Originally designated for border crossings, the tool is now being deployed deep within the U.S. interior, allowing agents to identify individuals on the street simply by by pointing a phone at their faces.
I mean, this is like literally the Pokemon app gone awry. Totally. That's the problem. We train these guys how to do this by playing Pokemon, but now they're like, you captured a Muslim, +1. Not what we wanted.
Are you taking a photo just for your tourism's sake, or are you identifying people who are standing here protesting?
Yeah.
By instantly cross-referencing scans against massive federal databases and potentially commercial data, the app provides what officials call definitive identification. However, critics warn of a chilling expansion of surveillance. Beyond privacy concerns, the technology faces intense scrutiny over accuracy. Reports of misidentification and racial bias suggest that a single glitchy scan can now lead to the wrongful detention of immigrants and U.S. citizens alike.
Well, technically, it doesn't have to be a glitchy scan. You can get what you think is a good picture and still get led down a path.
Sure.
And by the way, none of this is a surprise. I've been using Face ID tech now for over 10 years. I've spoken about it publicly at large events. It's really cool, but you have to know its constraints.
Its limitations, sure.
And it seems like it's very hard to gather information about this because there's not a lot of it. It's not very transparent. So you're basically reading what some agencies have been able to report on it. So, it's bits and starts that you can try to figure it out from. But it seems like this app started, or this program started, with a reasonable intent, which was, we think this person might be one of these people. When you are now trying to map the entire public into that, you're going to have more false identifications. That's the difference.
Of course.
It's the difference between, I have a person of interest already because something else told me they're a person of interest.
Yes.
And now you want one additional piece of information.
Yes.
And it serves some modicum of purpose that way.
Right.
But they're not using it that. They're using the inverse of it.
The mass surveillance way is
that doesn't work.
A new thing. Yeah.
Because the problem is now you can just map, like just about, you can take a picture of a potato and they'd be like, yes, we think this is Jeff Parker.
Sure.
And you're like, but it was a potato. But because you're matching it to a universe, you're forcing it to match into this universe. And my understanding of the app is it provides you no confidence score, no certainty.
Right.
Like you're not getting specific scalar data on what it is. So that's just not great at all.
What expectation of privacy do you have just even drive around Beverly Hills. Look at all the license plate identifiers that are around, not just Beverly Hills, but other cities.
I was going to say, news to you, we got no license plates all over the state, not just in Beverly Hills. I know you never leave, but
so whenever I go anywhere, you know exactly where I'm going.
Yes.
And there's actually cameras pointed down at me
at your junk.
all over the place. They can see me driving the car. They know it's me.
This is part of the challenge. Now, California has enacted some legislation around this, specifically around the data capture of license plates. It doesn't prevent it. What it does is it puts some criteria around how you store it to protect it and how long you can keep it, which is great. It's something.
You can only keep it for 15 years.
Is that true?
That's true on most of the facial recognition stuff, is you keep it for 15 years unless you have some reason to suspect the person is of interest.
At least there's some modicum over protecting the data. And I think that was really to keep homegrown implementations that just, dump this crap to the web from existing. So it's something.
By the way, that's only true of the cities or the state governments who enact those laws. For example, San Francisco has very strong anti-facial recognition laws. It only applies to city government. If the federal government wants to come in and use facial recognition, they can. Well, it doesn't change anything for them.
Yeah, that's part of the challenge there, right? Is when you start getting into conflict between federal and state and local law, who wins? And that's a real
federal.
Yeah, exactly. So right, you just
almost in every case, exactly.
So that becomes certainly a real challenge.
Anytime I go to LAX, when you approach a building, before you even get into a building at LAX, they've already wrecked you. They know exactly who you are before you even get into a building.
Well, yeah. So there is another program that's in DHS, specifically on the TSA, that is used in what I would consider sort of the proper way, which is you have a boarding pass, it has your name on it, and you can match the face that's registered to your name with the government to your face. That is in my opinion, a reasonable example of facial recognition.
They still want me to have a little paper ticket, and they still want me to have some photo ID. It's like, why do I need all this stuff? You know exactly who I am.
I'm trying to articulate the difference here. The difference here is if you took an app that had everybody who was flying tomorrow.
I understand.
And you took a picture of some rando on the street and said, who is this?
Right.
It's going to map you to somebody in the app and be like, oh, this is John Doe from Kansas. He's flying from Kansas to South Carolina. And you're like, but it's not John Doe.
Yeah.
It's Jeff Parker.
It gets things wrong.
The point is you're mapping into a population that isn't necessarily the people that you're trying to find. So that's part of the problem.
This is a limited time problem as well, because the rec software is going to get better and better and better. And eventually it's not going to make mistakes, and it's going to know exactly who you are.
I mean, it's gotten pretty darn good. I think the biggest problem is in the capture.
Yeah.
And this is right now a real mess, specifically for DHS, because you can't get a clean capture, meaning head-on shot, good lighting.
Sure.
Because as someone moves around, or if they're looking down, or if the lighting's terrible, which are all things that are going to happen out in the field, as anyone who's ever used a cell phone to take a picture knows, then you're going to hurt the quality of the match. much. What is, I think, most concerning about this is how we sort of got here in recent time, which is that we had policies defined. We actually had policies that were well defined over how to use this tech and how DHS should use this tech and how they do use it.
And now we don't.
Yeah, those were literally erased. Like it was erased like 3 weeks after Trump's inauguration, right? This was just nope, we're pulling this all down. We're not going to follow it. And that's the part that I really think you should be first and foremost concerned about is there's no clarity in how it's being used.
Zero oversight on it too.
That sounds really bad to me. It sounds a little authoritative.
A little Orwellian.
And not what we're supposed to want. Just a poquito.
And for those 2 words, un poquito, you're going to be arrested.
Oh, I'm already at the top of the list on there. It's fine. Literally, if you put glasses on a potato, it will come up as me. They already know.
There was a woman who was protesting, and she was in her car driving around Minnesota somewhere, and the ICE guy pulled her over, and he identified her using this app. And magically, her pre-check TSA went away like a week later.
Oh, weird. Yeah.
Shocking, surprising how that happens.
Yeah. Once you're accused of something, it all goes away.
They're both DHS programs, right?
Yeah, makes sense. This is a mess. I suspect this is going to get worse before it gets better.
Is it ever going to get better?
Well, at some point, the sun has a heat death and... Yeah. So
well, something to look forward to then.
Yeah, exactly. Just counting down the days.
Had no idea you were this cheery.
Hey, when are you going to stop that fission, son? Oh, soon? Okay. Just waiting.
The AI arms race hits TV. During Super Bowl 60, Anthropic launched a high-stakes ad campaign mocking OpenAI's decision to introduce advertising into ChatGPT. The commercials depict human-like AI assistants shoehorning cringeworthy product pitches like dating apps and height-boosting insoles into personal conversations. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman didn't find the satire entirely charming, blasting the ads as, quote, clearly dishonest, unquote, and deceptive. He argued that OpenAI's model involves bringing free AI to billions, whereas Anthropic's ad-free stance is a luxury for the rich. Despite the friction, Anthropic's jab at dystopian ads resonated. Data suggests their spots outperformed OpenAI's in viewer engagement, signaling a new public era of tech industry mudslinging.
Yeah, it's not mud. It's a little bits of mud they're slinging. It's not bad yet. You did leave out the fact that the top of Altman's tweet did say he found them funny, which I can appreciate. He at least said they found them funny.
What else is he going to say? I mean,
well, that's the problem.
First of all, Altman didn't even write that.
But that's the problem. You shouldn't have said anything else. You really should have just been like hilarious, and that should have been it. Full stop. And then some number of weeks later, you come out and be like, oh, hey, by the way, these are the differences between the platforms. Like, you can't. The ads, whether you are an OpenAI user or not, the ads are still pretty damn funny. Like, I think they did a really good job of imitating what the current experience is like with ChatGPT.
The lag.
And then adding their take to it.
The lag was brilliant.
Oh, the lag is great. The pause.
You ask the question and there's this very long pause and then this generic cheery voice. Okay, here's how you get to know your mother better.
It wasn't like monotone. It was generic. It was beige. You get this like beige answer.
Yeah.
And then the way that it effortlessly sort of transitioned into an ad was what I think a lot of people believe OpenAI could do.
Sure.
Now, from my understanding, this is not what OpenAI is looking to do. They're doing something different, but that's not the point. The point is this is a joke. Like they are telling a thing that is a joke. And OpenAI, I think, has really good facts or data and a belief in product that is not what was being represented from Anthropic. Don't take the bait.
Sure.
Wait. Like just wait and come out with that later. Then, and I was shocked to see this because I knew the Anthropic ads were coming, right? They released them well before the Super Bowl.
There were 4 of them or 6 of them. How many were there?
It was like 4 of them, something like that. Yeah. Then I saw the OpenAI spots during the Super Bowl and I was like, oh, this is worse. Because the OpenAI spot was a very much a like, hey, you can build stuff and this is kind of cool, but it didn't nearly like, I felt like I was hanging out at the nerd table.
That's so funny because I remember the Anthropic ads and
I don't even remember the OpenAI ones.
I don't even remember the OpenAI ads.
It was primarily focused on codecs and it was talking about kind of anybody can build something.
Unmemorable.
Which was really cool. And I love that they were promoting that. But man, relative to the Anthropic, like you missed, because the whole audience gets the Anthropic ads and understands them. Even if you don't use OpenAI, you can be like, oh yeah, I understand enough of what's happening here.
Sure.
The codecs one was like, you're trying to find the niche, like the 3 nerds that were actually watching the Super Bowl was who that ad was for. So like your acquisition cost was
insane.
Anyway, it was interesting. I felt like the quality of ads up front was better than recent years.
We've blown off of this story, haven't we? We've totally just gone into Super Bowl ads.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we might as well. Super Bowl ads were fun.
I was optimistic for the Kurt Russell skiing young Budweiser commercial.
Yeah.
But I've just felt like it just didn't hit. Like yeah.
Didn't see it.
Really? How big was the charcuterie board you were at? Was it like a room? Was it just like a charcuterie room?
It has its own room, sure.
We only use it once a year, but damn, it's worth it. Well, I guess I didn't have anybody over, so I could pause it when I had to get up and get stuff. But that's a lot of charcuterie. Now I'm hungry. Thanks.
Okay, enough with the headlines. In fact, enough with the episode. We have to get out of here. Special thanks to our floor director, Scotty Bensick.
Thanks, Scotty.
We'll be back later this week with our big story, the end of the charging wait. New tech promises 0 to 80% in minutes. Until then, thank you for listening to all this nonsense. I'm Jeff Parker.
I'm CJ Little.
Very nice.
Letters are hard.
You say it beautifully. See you next time.
Well, got some practice. As you know, World War II saw some dark and desperate hours where the efforts of a single individual could mean the difference between miraculous victory and crushing defeat.
Sure.
Courtesy of Muse software, gamers can add their endeavors to the glorious contributions of other wartime heroes with Castle Wolfenstein.
Oh, I love Castle Wolfenstein.
I knew you would. You must assume the role of a captured GI incarcerated in the newly established Nazi headquarters at Castle Wolfenstein. The Fuhrer's minions will do anything to learn your vital military secrets.
Yeah.
A tortured cellmate gives you a fully loaded M98 pistol and the knowledge that the Nazi war plans, known as Operation Rheingold, are somewhere in the ancient fortress. As an army private, escaping with the plans is of paramount importance to you. Turning them over to the Allied High Command will not only shorten the war and save lives, but will also earn you a well-deserved promotion.
Yeah.
Because those two things are equivalent. Find the Nazi war plans and make your escape from this ancient fortress. Get Castle Wolfenstein today. $89.95 at a retailer near you. Now, I knew you were going to like this.
This is so sweet because I played this all the time.
It was very hard for me to not leak this to you.
Oh my gosh, I just loved this game.
I knew that would be the case.
It really was Doom before Doom.
So give me a year.
Do you want to know the first iteration of Castle Wolfenstein when it first came out?
We can go with the first. Yeah, we can go with the first.
Okay, so in 1981.
Yes. Now, what is it you were just talking about? Because what you were just talking about was not 1981.
Because Wolfenstein 3D was like 1992.
Yes.
And that was the first real 3D version.
Yes. That is correct. You are accurate about this. Now, this particular ad was from 1984, which was the Commodore 64 version. I left that out to try to throw you for a loop.
Oh, yeah.
They released the Atari before that in 82. Commodore 64 was 1983-ish, and then the MS-DOS platform later. But what's interesting, and most people don't know, and I think you sort of sniffed out, is that this was Muse software. I left that hint for you on purpose, because that was not the guys that bought the rights to Castle Wolfenstein for Wolfenstein 3D, which is what came out of ID Software in the early 90s.
Yes.
And yes, it was the precursor to Doom, which was an amazing game. I remember running it, on MS-DOS in TSR 640K, 984K mode.
Yeah, for sure. There was nothing like it at the time. It was so much fun.
I also love that Wolfenstein and even Doom more so now, is like the thing that your technologist makers will port onto every device.
Oh, sure. Sure.
I literally read an article last week about a guy that ported Doom to run on a set of earphones.
Oh, yeah.
Literally has a
because you have so much more processing in an earbud.
Exactly. That's kind of the point. A lot of fun. Yes. Castle Wolfenstein.
Near and dear to my heart.
1984. But what is also worth pointing out is that $89.95 is today dollars. It's actually like $93 in today dollars.
Yeah.
It was $29.95 at time of release. And I put that in there because I think it's somewhat important to notice that the cost of games has actually gone down.
Yeah.
Right? Like we'd like to go, oh, well, it's $60 for a Switch game. That's a lot. You're like, but actually it's down over the past 40 years. The last thing I want to leave you with,
yes,
and I apologize in advance for making you and all of our listeners sad, is that Castle Wolfenstein, not Wolfenstein 3D, Castle Wolfenstein came out closer to the end of World War II than to today.
Well, that's true. That's absolutely true.
Good luck getting through the rest of your day.